About 10 years ago, I started to talk to my grandmother about our war memories because I wanted to record them. The idea I had to do that was to go through the family albums, and one of the first pictures I found in the album was a picture of my grandfather's pharmacy, and it was in a prefab. So I said to my grandmother, "What is that?" And she said, "Oh, we had a prefab." I found it interesting because I found a connection with the work I was doing at the time, and which I'm still doing actually, photographing prefabs in the UK. And it was very touching to see my father as a toddler in front of that prefab. I've always been interested in photographing people who live in unconventional buildings, and when I found out that there were still prefabs in the UK, which were lived in and very well looked after, I thought I should try and knock on the door and see if I could talk to the residents and start taking pictures. After talking to a few residents, I found out that prefabs were in danger, and that in a few years there might be none of them left actually. And I also found out that there were campaigns to save them. Jim Blackender lived on the Excalibur estate in Catford, and he worked on the campaigns to save the prefabs, but he lost a battle, and so, like many of his neighbours, he moved into a house.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Come in.
Thank you. So this is your new home?
It is, yeah. This is our living room. It's a bit smaller than our other place, but it's cosy. Come through, I'll show you, because we've got a dining room as well, which is handy. It gives us back our extra space that we've sort of lost.
Because you only had one living room in the prefab.
We did, that's right. We're lucky, fortunate enough that this one's actually got a dining room, so that gives us the extra space, because the living rooms here are a little bit smaller. Oh yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, seen these on the web and yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean,
yeah.
You know, we can't afford that. We can't buy that again. We can't get that back.
No.
You know, anybody could make their prefab look good.
Yes.
It just takes a bit of hard work. You've got to want it. You know. I can remember these. I mean, sitting in the garden, it was lovely.
Yeah.
You know, nobody overlooking you, no neighbours. Great. Still got my cup of tea in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had the original shelf in the kitchen.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Yeah, the shelves and the cupboards and certain parts in the bathroom. You know, you try to keep some of the features to remind you. You know, no, we will miss it. We'll greatly miss it.
This was an area that was really heavily bombed during the war. It's one of the third most bombed boroughs in London. There was a great need for housing after the war, and the Excalibur estate was one of the ways that Lewisham responded to that need. And this is one of the largest surviving designed prefab estates in the country.
The first attack must evidently be made upon houses which are damaged, but which can be reconditioned into proper dwellings. The second attack on the housing problem will be made by what are called the prefabricated or emergency houses. On this, the Minister of Works, Lord Portal, is working wonders. I hope we may make up to 500,000 of these, and for this purpose not only plans, but actual preparations are being made during the war on a nationwide scale.
When I came back home in June 46,
Yes.
my wife had this letter from the London County Council telling her that there was a 2-bedroom property available in Catford. She was living in one room with my 2 children then. I hadn't seen the second one, he was born when I was away. So we caught the train to Catford Bridge and a bus from there. We had to show this permit to somebody at the gate to let us into this site, and there were bulldozers up and down, there were lorries there were men with picks that were working, there were stuff in the roads, cupboards, all manner of things. they was putting stuff in. We were the third one to go in. And gently my wife opened that door and looked in and said, "What a lovely big hall. We can get the pram in here." Then we saw a toilet. An inside toilet in 1946 was unknown. You had to be very, very posh. Then a bathroom. To see a bathroom inside, I'd been used to queuing up at the municipal baths, not what I'd been used to. Toilet in the garden, in the shed, no bath.
They are, in my opinion, far superior to the ordinary cottage as it exists today. Not only have they excellent baths, gas or electric kitchenettes and refrigerators, but their walls carry fitted furniture, chests of drawers, hanging cupboards, and tables which today would cost £80 to buy. Moreover, for the rest of the furniture, standard articles will be provided and mass-produced, so that no heavy capital charge will fall upon the young couples or others who may become tenants of the houses.
The folding table.
Yes, that's where it used to be.
That's what it used to be, yeah.
And there's a little catch there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's right.
That used to be a refrigerator.
Yes, yeah. When an iron Bevan turned the tank manufacturing factories into factories that manufactured the prefabricated parts for these houses.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was literally swords being beaten into ploughshares.
Yeah.
The tank factories and some of the aircraft factories started manufacturing the parts for these houses.
Well,
they should do it again and create a lot of jobs.
Oh, it's Elizabeth. Come in. Elizabeth with the camera.
Hello.
It's as big as you are. Come in.
Thank you.
Well, this is the front room, as I call it. Yeah, all my old bits and pieces. They're as old as I am, or nearly. All the stuff in here is second hand, you know. Nothing new in here. Yes, it's very nice. There's plenty of light.
So you still have the original windows?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all original. That's not original. There was originally a cupboard there where the door is, but it wasn't there when I came. It's been taken out and the door moved from there to the right a bit. More convenient. I mean, you lost a bit of cupboard space, of course, but made easy in and out to the kitchen. And it's a nice big kitchen too. I mean, it's I like a kitchen you can sit in and have your meals, and you can in this one. See? Nice, isn't it? It's my bedroom and my collection of old radios, of course. Oh dear. Hobby repairing those. They've all been repaired. Shall we have a look at the other room?
Yes.
I've got another bedroom, which I need because if I'm confined to bed, my daughter will come down on my son and look after me, which has happened several times. And that's where they'll sleep.
Factories have been assigned. The necessary setup is being made ready. Materials are being earmarked as far as possible. The most convenient sites will be chosen. The whole business is to be treated as a military evolution, handled by the government, with private industry harnessed to its service. And I had every hope and a firm resolve that several 100,000 of our young men will be able to marry several 100,000 of our young women and make their own 4-year plan.
marvellous, the spirit that we had. Most of us have been in the forces, which made that kinship. It's just one of those things. First Christmas, the transformer broke down. They couldn't cook their Christmas dinners. We said, bring your turkeys to us, those or chickens, whatever you want. My wife cooked 4 or 5 turkeys over the Christmas. Next door they did. To help, that was the spirit in this estate. All helping one another.
It's a giving culture, you know, you share what you have. I mean, we hang a bag of rhubarb on the fence and it'll be taken in, and we've got tomatoes, we hand them over when we've got too many, you know. It's a sharing community, which is good.
You won't get this type again because we can leave our doors and windows open. You won't get that. When you're going to move into these horrible places, you won't be able to open your door. You won't be able to open your windows. You'll be frightened in case people break
I
in.
left my door open, went down there, it's okay.
Yeah.
So I just walk off and leave it.
My one in the summer, this one's open all day. I just walk in and out, you know. But you're not going to get that again.
It'll be the end of her. She's in her 80s.
She's about 86. Yeah, 86, Eileen. We take care of her. She forgets her key a lot, so I've got her key because she forgets, you know.
She come to me, I forgot my key, I left my keys indoors.
Yeah, so I have to have it for her. But that's how we are, Randy. I mean, I've got Veronica's and look after her cat, you know. We are like the old one. All right, Eileen?
Okay.
Yeah.
How long you lived here, Eileen?
Minor Road. How long you lived here?
How long have you lived here?
Since 1972.
Yeah, she lived here a long time. She used to live in that one, didn't you, where Veronica bought?
No, I didn't. Sid used to live there.
Sid lived there.
Sid used to live in the one that I came in that one.
Then he changed?
Then he changed again and went to that one.
Went to that one.
I remember.
They came and did half my fence last night. They worked till nearly 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. He did it on his own himself.
Because you know what my connection is? I lived in prefabs for 17 years.
All right.
And, my mother and father did. I lived there for 14 years and then I went to university. But our prefabs were a slightly different design, but the same principle.
Of course.
Little palaces like this one.
They are, love.
Absolutely great. The great thing about prefabs is they are open. They face each other. Yeah. There's always somebody at the back. And so you can't be isolated in a prefab. It is your home, your castle, but you can't really be isolated. Yeah. And because they're so distinctive and found in their mainly 1 or 200, then the automatic assumption of prefabricated housing development being a community ready built is very obvious indeed.
All these emergency houses will be publicly owned, and it will not rest with any individual tenant to keep them in being after they have served their purpose of tiding over the return of the fighting men and after permanent dwellings are available.
There's nothing wrong with houses, there's nothing wrong with prefabs. The difference with a prefab is you've got a 2-bedroom detached property, and unless you've got lots of money, you're never ever going to get that back again. You know, it's something that we was fortunate enough to have as tenants, council tenants. And once they're gone, it's gone forever, you know. Unless you're on £1,000 a week, you're never ever going to get back to a place like that.
We all come from working class families that have always had to struggle to put a dinner on the table and to get a nice home together, you know, and you have to work hard and strive hard to get what little bit you've got in life, you know. So the council don't understand what it means when they threaten to take your home away. They think, well, it's only a building, we'll give you a building somewhere else, you know, like that's going to make it all better, you know, but it doesn't. They don't realise that you've put your heart and soul into that. And lots of people, they'll put everything into a home and there's nothing to say they can then do that again when they move on, you know. They may not be in the position now to make it a nice home that they made before, you know. It's hard, it's very hard.
It's just a lovely place, and they're not cold and damp. You just got to do them up a bit and leave your eating on. It's just the other people that wanted their houses, you know. But we don't want to go. We love it.
The estate is in so much disrepair now. Since we moved there 20 years ago, nothing's really been done on that estate that hasn't been done by the estate management with the small amount of money that they get. They've had to fight, beg, borrow just to get money to do the basic repairs. And the council have allowed the estate to fall into total disrepair. And as I said, the mayor actually said he'd leave the estate to rot if we voted no, because there was no money to invest in the estate. Although every other estate and every other home in the country meeting the decent home standard, there seemed to be money for everybody except Excalibur. But then Excalibur is a very large piece of land, very, very valuable.
English Heritage, the designation team which deals with listing, we were asked to assess the buildings on this estate to see if they should be listed buildings. And to be a listed building means having special architectural or historic interest in a national context. The threshold for listing is a very high one, particularly for buildings constructed after the war. But we looked very carefully at all the surviving buildings on this particular estate, and we did a survey of those which survived particularly well. And we noticed that this cluster down on the road where we're on at the moment had a particularly high number of well-surviving prefabs. That is, they had original windows, original doors, where the timber frame could be quite evident from the outside, and where there hadn't been a great deal of change. And so we recommended a small representative number of well-surviving prefabs on this part of the estate for listing. And the DCMS, the Department for Culture, which is the government body that English Heritage advises about listing, decided to list 6 of the prefabs as the best surviving and most kind of clustered together prefabs. And they're very, very indicative of the interest of this estate as a whole.
All we've got is 6 prefabs that are listed, and if they fall into disrepair, then Lewisham Council can actually put in an application to have them demolished and, you know, build on that land as well. But you see, the thing is ordinary working class people like ourselves are not allowed to have a history. We're not allowed to have monuments that represent the working class, you know. You're only allowed to have history or monuments that represent the rich and the powerful, like, you know, big buildings built by Sir Robin someone or other, you know. When it comes down to the ordinary working class trying to retain some of its history, no way, you know. Not worth keeping, is it? Who's it for? Poor people? Isn't it? You know.
See, this was all farmland when I knew it.
That's basically all.
It's before the war. I was 14 when I moved into Battersby Road, and this was all farmland.
Because I'm not moving. I'm 93 now.
I love it. That's great.
Well, I mean, I might not be around, Well, I think I've got about another 4 years before they start wanting to pull my place down.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago, and it's gone right through my head. No matter where I roam, over land or sea or foam, you will always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.